by the way.
But my thing is this, it's not just Hollywood's dirty little secret, it's the world's dirty little secret. This is something that's been going on not just in Hollywood, but everywhere. People are afraid to talk about it. But, you know, I really think it has a lot to do with how you approach your children, you know. We always want to approach them, I think, in a way of trying not to be direct. And I think that destroys a child. You have to be direct, very upfront, and tell them exactly what's going to happen to them.
Well, I'm gonna have you, after the commercial break, give parents very specific advice. I think you've got some great things to point out. But one of the things you and I were talking about in the makeup chairs a few minutes ago was you and I have been talking about this for 18, 19 years, something like
exactly.
that. And now people seem to be listening finally. It's getting frequent enough. Now, back then, when we first started talking about this, you remember people saying, oh, well, people are just talking about it more now. It's always been around.
Exactly.
You agree with me? I'm asking, and you were shaking your head vigorously. I'm going to ask you the same question in just a second, but Todd first. Do you agree that this is something that is becoming of epidemic proportion as it's growing?
I think that it has always been around, but it's becoming larger than ever now because the internet has changed the whole game of it, I think. It has given pedophiles the opportunity to do things more than they've been able to do. You know, see kids more, and also they're putting themselves in positions now, which is even more insane, to be able to get to kids faster. You know, and the parents.
So it's a more efficient marketplace for them.
Much more efficient. It's like a fishing game, and they're fishing, unfortunately, and we're not watching.
Well,
and, you know,
we should be. Ann, you were shaking your head vigorously. You agree with this?
Absolutely agree. I think it's a combination of the internet because the pedophiles are awesome. They are completely incredibly technologically savvy. So they are able to trade pictures, contact each other in other states, when before they wouldn't have even known. I
will ask you the same question, though. You were shaking your head vigorously when I was talking to Todd about being Hollywood's dirty little secret. Do you think it is?
I do think it is. I agree with Todd that I think it is a bigger picture, that we've seen that in the athletic world just recently. But I think Hollywood in particular has a real problem that no one has talked about. They covered it up for a long time, and it's just now coming to light. Maybe in the last 4 years, I'd say, we've had quite a lot of convictions, so it's starting to look like a trend.
Well, at least the legal system is getting hold of it, but I don't think the public discourse has really, I think tonight we're really finally stepping up and saying, I think this is something. Now, this Marty Weiss, apparently he used to teach private acting classes at his home. Parents would drop their kids off and wait outside. A reporter talked to Weiss's neighbor. Watch this.
Marty would just say they were in there watching movies or whatever. They go out bowling. I never got a weird feeling. Never, never, never. You know, Marty always said he was just a big kid at heart. It's a horrendous thing. It's sickening when you think about that. You know, and I'm kind of upset with myself that I never suspected it.
Todd, grown men wanting to be around young men, young boys. Is that okay?
That is
is that ever okay?
Is the worst thing possible. If the President of the United States came to me and said, hey, Todd, I want to take your son fishing, I'd be like, all right, so where we all going to? I don't care who it is. You are not going to be alone with my son. I am not going to give you that opportunity. It's not going to happen.
Now, you guys just saw in a piece a moment ago that they had arrested a guy, Jason James Murphy, who had worked with kids as a casting director, and he had a history as a registered sex offender. And director J.J. Abrams was the one that found out about that. And can you enlighten us about this?
Yeah, you know, the oddity about all this that most people don't understand is that in the entertainment industry, there are no background checks, there are no fingerprints with kids working with children. And in our regular world, we're used to that. For, you know, our kids go to Boy Scouts, they go to after-school sports, they go to daycare. They all have to be fingerprinted, and we expect that there's some level of scrutiny there. For Hollywood, because our kids aren't enrolling in something, we're actually employing some of those people.
Well, Hollywood only attracts healthy people, emotionally healthy people, right? Isn't that
What are we
only exclusively?
For my background, I was almost booted off coaching my son's flag football team. Okay?
For misbehaving.
Yeah, for 19 years ago.
And
I'm like, come on, guys. But I'm like, this is something. Here I am, trying to really can help people.
Yes.
And you're trying to keep me away. And it seems like that's what happens. The ones who really can help, we seem to kind of distance, and the ones that are the predators already, we seem to put them closer.
Yeah, we're just opening the door. Come on in. You know, the Marty Weisses of the world never had to go through a background
check. Let me go out
check.
to Dr. Pollack, who's with us on satellite. Let me ask this question, which is, are there warning signs? I mean, I guess we get into a big discussion about who's at risk and that sort of thing, but my first question is, if a child has been a victim, are there signs a parent can look for if they're watching carefully?
Yes. If a child's been a victim, often they'll pull away. They'll start to not be with their friends and only want to be with that one adult. They may seem surly or angry, especially if they're a boy, but they're actually quite sad and despondent. And as Todd said earlier, and by the way, very courageous for Todd to come forward, but what Todd said earlier, you have to talk to your child about this. You can't put it in the closet. You have to look at the signs and be honest and open, not grill them, but just sit down and say, I'm worried. We've got to talk about what's going on.
And Dr. Pollack, let me just follow on one difficult question, which is, I know in my own work that people who themselves were a victim of sexual abuse sometimes are attracted to circumstances of people that end up being predators. And when a child is predated upon, parents go into sort of a mode of denial because they don't want to deal with the pain of realizing they've exposed to a kid to the same thing that was so shattering to them.
Shame is the name of the game. What happens is parents feel ashamed inside, or they have an inkling, but they feel they'll be shamed. They're afraid their own child will be shamed. But we have to push the shame away and bring the clear light of day in, especially with boys who get very confused. They think this is some kind of either closeness to men, or on the other end, they think it has to do with being gay. It's a sexual enactment, but it's really a power trip, and it's tyranny.
That is exactly, that's what gets so confusing for the young males. And now we're going to keep this conversation going. We've got a whole other segment.